Hey guys, welcome back to KL's KSI beats Joe Fournier on Misfits 007, but hugely controversial with an illegal elbow, honestly, to end that fight. And I feel bad for Joe Fournier, man, I really do, because in a real boxing fight, that does not go down as a knockout. It was a blatant, obvious elbow. And the bad thing is, Misfits and DAZN, they showed that replay once and pretended like nothing happened. They literally pretended like nothing happened. I've seen an interview with KSI backstage after the fight. That bleeding interviewer didn't even mention a thing to KSI about the elbow. It shows how much of a shambles Misfits boxing is. Poor judging decisions, and then the ref's looking right at it. How didn't he see? But yet they're not even mentioning it. They're scared they'll lose their job on Misfits. Obviously, they're scared that they'll lose their job at Misfits if they mention anything to him. And then you see a few KSI fans on all social media treating KSI like an absolute god because of all of it. It's a joke, really. It's an absolute joke, Misfits boxing. The way that, they showed that once, and hardly even mentioning anything to KSI. The way that KSI's like, it's not an elbow. No way it's an elbow. Just at the end, saying, nah, it's a great overhand right. It was, like, you did hit him with an overhand right before it happened, but you ended that fight with an elbow, and it's clear as day. To be fair, it's one of the most obvious elbows, and it's one of the most obvious elbows and one of the most illegal shots I've ever seen in a boxing fight, to be fair. Honestly, and I watch boxing literally every single weekend, and this was this was one of just the worst decisions I've seen. You hit him with a blatant elbow. The ref's looking at it. Nothing happens. Joke. It's not going to get overturned. Like people saying, oh yeah, it's going to get overturned anyway. No, it's not going to get overturned. It's KSI's bloody promotion. He makes the rules. They're going to have a look at this and be like, oh yeah, whatever. Joe Fournier, I've seen an interview of him. He wants the rematch. He's not going to get the rematch. KSI would have won the fight anyway. It was obvious. You can tell by the way it was going. But still, though, because Joe Fournier was very stiff as hell, KSI didn't even look that good, in my opinion. He just carries a decent amount of power. But what a brutal elbow it was, though. But yeah, that in a real boxing fight, that does not get counted as a win. And Misfits boxing, they want to try and treat it professionally. If you want to treat it professionally, then you overturn that straight away. That does not count. They would have overturned that in the ring after the fight if they want to treat that professionally. That was one of the most clearest things I've ever seen. Honestly, I really want Tommy Fury to beat KSI. I used to be a big fan of KSI, not just because of, today why I'm not a fan of him anymore, just in general, his ego is just massive now. He's not humble at all. So I want Tommy Fury to destroy him and honestly humble him massively, to be fair, because, you can't get away with that stuff. You cannot get away with that stuff. That's the most clearest elbow I've seen, honestly. And the interviewers say nothing to him. They say nothing to him. They show the replay once, and hardly anybody is saying anything to him because they're scared of him. That's simple. They're scared that he's going to fire them like they did to the weight concept. That one of the commentators who were on there. And let's be real, it's not the same about him as well. Honestly, I think it's a joke. To be fair, how they've allowed this. The referees, I think, it's a joke for this, and just overall Misfits boxing shambles, really, absolute shambles, really. I honestly think it's a joke how they've let KSI get away with that. It's a joke. If Misfits boxing a proper respect for boxing in general, you do not allow that as a win. You do not. It shouldn't. KSI, you can't have, his ego can't be absolutely stoked because of this. Honestly, it can't be. It's a clear elbow. Anyway, on to KSI's performance as well. He didn't look great, kept on dropped his hands way too often, in my opinion. Jake Paul and Tommy Fury destroy him. I hope Tommy Fury humbles the guy, honestly, because, because Misfits Boxing and KSI can't get away with stupid things like that. It's a joke, really. It's clear as day. It's clear as day. If you really want to talk about scripting, that's scripting. That is scripting. And like, I'm not a fan of KSI or Jake Paul or anything, but people say Jake Paul's fight's rigged. I'm not one to defend Jake Paul at all. If you want to go and look at rigged fights, that is because the referee was looking straight at it, did absolutely nothing there. Absolutely nothing on the most obvious thing I've seen. Honestly, that's a joke. And it's a joke because loads of pro boxers they're calling out Jake Paul for apparently one of his shots not landing on Anderson Silva, but no one's going to say anything about this. I think it's unfair. It's unfair on Joe Fournier the way that they've gone about this. And yeah, look, I hope Tommy Fury just ends this whole influencer scene once and for all, because it's becoming a right joke, really. To be fair, he ended Jake Paul, Tommy Fury, thank bloody God for that, and hopefully he ends KSI. Tommy Fury's our last bloody hope on just humbling this man. KSI, that's like, we need to see KSI get humbled. It's as simple as it's a blatant elbow. Don't go running around doing jumping push-ups in the ring. After that's a joke, really. I mean, you can give KSI the benefit of the doubt. His adrenaline was obviously high at the time, but still, though, it's an elbow, and it should be a no contest, in my opinion. I mean, a DQ, I wouldn't go too far because, KSI, it wasn't intentional. He didn't do it on purpose. It was a clear accident. Like, there was no intent in it, but it was a clear elbow. And I just feel like Misfits Boxing, they can't get away with that. They honestly can't. It needs calling out by a lot of pro boxers. It needs calling out by the British Boxing Board of Control. But obviously, the British Boxing Board of Control can't do anything about that, though. Obviously, because they're not in control of Misfits. Because that and they're not, because obviously it's not it's obvious because it's not it's not professional. So the British Boxing Board of Control they don't have any control over it. Only Misfits and the owners of Misfits and the chairman of Misfits and stuff, they're the people that have control of it. And those people who are in control and the chairman and the owners of Misfits are KSI, Mams Taylor and stuff. So yeah, they're not going to do anything about that, unfortunately, as much as they should. Like, KSI would have won the fight anyway. Joe Fournier doesn't deserve the rematch. He looks awful. One of the most stiffest fighters I've seen. I mean, you can't even count him as a pro boxer. Honestly, Joe Fournier. Like, I feel bad for him because obviously, it shouldn't really go down as a defeat. He was always going to lose, that Joe Fournier, though. He was awful. He was awful. And yeah, to be fair, KSI, he holds good power. Fair play to the guy. But yeah, that elbow, you can't get away with that. It's simple as. And pro boxing, that gets disallowed. And I hope that the Tommy Fury fight's a pro boxing fight with proper judges. That's it. I think that KSI should go over to Queensbury, which is obviously Frank Warren's promotion, and that's the one that Tommy Fury fights on. He should go over to that, do a pro bout with Tommy. That's what they should do, in my opinion. But they won't do that, though. Tommy Fury was at the event today. Obviously, they had a bit of a push and a shove with JJ at the end. But I mean, yeah, honestly, I think it's just the way that JJ as well just takes a push so seriously as well. He's like, oh, he pushed me, you're not gonna get away with that. He takes it so personally. It's a bloody push, mate. No one cares. Yeah, honestly, hopefully Tommy Fury humbles KSI and just puts a real kind of stops his influence of him, because it's getting ridiculous now with all of this whole thing, especially with that elbow today, clear as day. Referee was so close to it as well, did absolutely nothing. Joke. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna end this video here. Thanks for watching the video, I'll speak to you in the next one, and thanks for watching. Peace out.